Alrighty, Tuesday, April 9th. Quick session recap here, starting off with ES. So let's go ahead and recap that near-term action. Essentially what we had Thursday, pre-NFP, right? This is the session before Friday's NFP. Price really pukes. Test the year-to-date daily volume point of control, right? So that's in this 5210 area. If I flip to the daily chart, should be able to see that pretty clearly here. And this is important just for context. So let this readjust. And yes, you can see the year-to-date volume point of control right through here at 5210, 5209 area. And that is significant because most of the volume so far this year has transacted right where this yellow line is, right? So you have a lot of market participation right here in this 5210 area. That is also one of our downside levels of interest. But anyway, price comes pre-NFP, test that key area of support, that year-to-date volume point of control. You get the retracement move on Friday, right? We see that retracement play. If I put the fib right through here, you could see that retracement play up into that 61% retracement right in through here. Monday, no real surprise to see that inside day. So volatility expansion starts to contract, right? We get very, very tight action here. And today we get another little bit of expansion. Not a major move, still within this near-term structure here. But once that inside day did fail to hold, we did get that cascade lower. This is pretty typical of inside days. It's why you want to keep an eye on how price is trading in relation to the prior bar. So what we can see here, this is a regular trading hours chart. You got the Thursday move, right? And we always look back because it gives us context clues about what to expect for today. So this is why I'm always kind of recapping the past few days, because it gives us important details about moving forward. Right, so we have that big sell-off. You have the retracement on Friday. Right, here's Monday's action. Look how tight that is. Now, this is typical for a Monday following, some big volatility moves, no economic data on this particular Monday. You're just going to have that tighter action. Price just kind of oscillates within Friday's structure. Now, look at this. This morning, we have a gap higher. Buyers have one job here, and it's to sustain this area. They have to sustain the gap. They have to hold that opening print. Otherwise, you're going to get this kind of move. You're going to have a gap fill at the very least, and most likely a test into some lower areas of support. So once you start to see this selling off of the open, that is at the very least an indication that you don't want to be considering any longs until post 10 a.m., right? It's generally a baseline rule of thumb that I have. So we have that open right into that resistance zone, right? Prior day high fails to hold as support. You get the cascade lower. Price closes the gap. So there's a gap fill right through here. That overnight gap is filled. You could see prior day volume point of control right through here as well. A little bit of a bid, right? Some notable action here. Right at that prior day volume point of control, does not resolve higher. Instead, it resolves lower. I didn't see any news to trigger this, but some heavy sellers stepped in, and where it really started to kick off is once that prior day low fails to hold. So that prior day low fails, you can pretty much expect that the lower areas of support are going to be tested. That's exactly what we saw. Move down into 5210, where you start to find some interested buyers. Now, what's interesting here is that price is just trading back within this structure, right? So back within this structure here, kind of a 2-3 session structure. There was an attempt to roll it back over here into the close, and that failed clearly. One interesting thing about today's session, if you take a look at this intraday action, you put the fib retracement on today's sell. That 50 to 61% is always going to be either, depending if you're looking at a long retracement or a short retracement, it's always going to be a buy or sell zone. And today was no different, right? Price comes up, test that 50% retracement. You have VWAP right through there, and you start to see that selling. Now, once we have that test, that retest into the 23% fib as well as some prior intraday structure there. Heavy buying, heavy buying. Back into VWAP and now poised to close up here in 250, 260. So price is pretty much right back to square one, right back within Monday's range, right? Here's Monday's range. So heavy volatility today, but as far as location has not changed. Price is still within this near-term structure. Now, what I'm going to be looking at for tomorrow, we want to remember that the 5250 area is that weekly time frame level. That is our key level for this week. So I'm primarily going to be basing my decisions based on price's relation to that 5250 level of interest. Price is now trading again up and through that 5250, pretty much back here into that near-term volume point of control. The main concern for buyers, for bulls currently, is this near-term downtrend, right? We do have a series of lower highs. Buyers really need a move up and through this near-term resistance zone. So keep an eye on that. That 5272 area is going to be a significant level in the near term. So we have 5250 and 5272 as kind of the primary reference points heading into CPI. I suspect that price overnight is just going to kind of oscillate through here. So we'll see what CPI brings. Buyers, again, looking for that move up and through this resistance zone. That can trigger a change in character on this near-term structure. As far as the intermediate term structure, it is still a range. Right, we have not left the range. So still here within the range. You can take a look at that hourly. Good action through here. Shout out to Dom. Dom, if you're watching this, great call this morning pointing out the significance of this hourly bar. That was posted in the chat. I believe this comment was likely overlooked, but pay attention when you see this type of action. You see price rejecting near-term range highs, and then you have an hourly close. Is there anything bullish about this? No. And so with that in mind, should you be thinking about grabbing any sort of longs? Probably not. Probably not, right? So use that higher time frame analysis to your advantage. It's always going to help you out. You want to be, if you're thinking about grabbing longs, you want to be on the right side of that V. You want the wind in your sails, right? Need a tailwind. And it can really help. If you're trying longs, once this low has been established, all those trades are going to be much, much easier than if you're trying to catch a falling knife. And all it has to do with is a little bit of patience and a focus and emphasis on that higher time frame analysis. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Higher time frame always helps out. Even if your average hold time is like 3-4 minutes, it doesn't matter. It's going to help you to have a big understanding of, what is happening on that higher time frame chart. So study that definitely. 5250 by 5272 area main watch for ES. Come CPI, take a look at this daily bar. So retest of support, right? It actually looks pretty good. Buyers have a good opportunity here to trigger a leg higher. We'll see what that CPI move is looking like. And then NQ still caught in the range here. So wow, NQ closed on highs. Look at that. So pretty nice action here as well. What we have is a break of that near-term structure, same type of thing. So I bet if we flip to the 4 hour, yeah, look at this. This is pretty interesting. I posted this in the chat. But we do have a higher time frame Wyckoff spring right through here. So this is just a blip below. It's going to be a lot of liquidity sitting below that prior day low. So grab all that liquidity, trade back up into the range, and then you get that real momentum move, which is pretty nice. This is a typical Wyckoff spring. Don't usually track it or monitor it on these higher time frame charts, but this can be really explosive, as we saw today. So as always, the Wyckoff spring is a almost like an overshoot of your key support area, right? That then quickly reclaims. That's one of my favorite intraday trades. Not really going to be trading it intraday on the 4 hour, other than that higher time frame analysis like we just talked about on ES. But this can bring some really good action. So blip below, right? grab that liquidity down below Monday's low. And then now we're back right into that near-term range high up there into 18,400. So 18,400 is going to be the main watch here on NQ into CPI. Very similar to ES, buyers, they need to show pretty much a break up through this area, right? And then price can more than likely trade 18,500, 18,550 at the very least. So 18,400 going to be the key watch here on NQ. For now, this is near-term resistance. We need price above and then holding above that 18,400. Overall, pretty good action today, all things considered. I was definitely expecting a much slower session, so always happy when we get some volatility in the mix. But hope you guys had a good session. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to shoot me a DM. And don't forget, study that market structure is incredibly helpful, no matter the strategy that you're trading. So have a good afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow morning for the pre-market prep live stream. Later.